That's strange. You can see the same cars there, and then a year later, so later you can see a different cars there.
Welcome, everybody. This is the it's Monday, August 14, 2023, 5:30 p.m. This is the executive committee for the meeting for the Village of Gulf Manor. Mr. Pridnoff, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Fisher?
Here.
Mr. Knipp?
Mr. Knipp did contact me. He should be here in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Michelson?
Here.
Mr. Simile?
Here.
Mr. Manor?
Here. So, motion to excuse Mr. Knipp for 5 minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, to set the agenda, a couple things, minor changes. Want to suggest, I do want to report on the special session the executive committee had last week. Take about 2 minutes, but I want to add that as a report. I don't know where to fit that, but there wasn't really any place in there, so maybe I'll just do that next.
Old business.
Okay.
Old business.
Let's see. Yeah. Nope, that's fine. Yep, we'll add that to old business. Thank you.
What is it that you're having old business in?
The report on the executive session, the special executive session we had last week with the executive committee. It was for matters of employee compensation. Highlighted. And then also tonight, we are adding an executive session with the entrance of Mr. Dowell here tonight for matters of
Purchase for sale.
So I'd like to add that to the agenda tonight. Any other changes or additions? Okay, motion to accept the agenda and adopt it.
Motion.
Motion. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No one's registered to address the committee tonight, so minutes for the last, we have 2 to approve tonight, 7:31, which is our last meeting. I actually have one change or one edit to it. Now. It looks like in the very first call to order, it says on Thursday, July 13. And this is from August 8th. So is that supposed to be in there? Is that just a carryover from another past meeting?
Again, I'm pulling it up, sorry.
Okay, okay.
It says Thursday, July 13th. It should say Thursday. It should say Tuesday, August 8th. Is that what you're referring to?
That's correct.
Yeah, that was an oversight.
And that's the only change I noticed in that. And the other changes? Okay, motion to accept the minutes from Tuesday, August 8th. As amended. And then, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then for the other set of minutes, kind of what I said earlier, during the minutes from the last meeting of historical tax presentation, it starts out with me presenting the tax receipts, and then it mentions the executive committee did not complete the administrative review. So it's kind of like stuck in, I don't know if that's correct.
It's just, if it was the order of events, that's how I wrote it in the minutes.
Okay, is that when you said that? It just seems like it's in the middle of another bullet point. To me, it was just confusing, but I didn't. That's acceptable, that's fine. right here, see, which we started the discussion on this whole presentation. When I started it, there it says, I explained executive application.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
So it's kind of like it out of place. If that's okay, I just want to mention it. But that was, okay, all right. Then that's the only, then that was the only thing I had to put up. Any other changes or additions to it? Motion to accept the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Okay. For new business, I guess, is it okay, I don't know if I do this now, you just have the update on the vandalism first, because the next discussion will be right in the executive setting, we'll just switch that. We'll do that, please.
Yeah, so nothing's happened from the park since we last talked on July 31st. The shade has been taken down. We're waiting for materials to repair it. Speaking with Mr. Putoff this week, it probably makes sense not to put that shade back up since we'll be taking it down in another month anyway, for this year. The police department has ordered a portable camera that when Captain Reed gets back from vacation will be strategically placed. We over in the actual play area. Mr. Putoff has gotten a couple of different quotes from Mills Fence to replace the fence and try to figure out how to automate that gate so we can actually close it. The IT department still continues to work on the solution to automate the restroom doors, which will make that easier for our police department to police. And I think those were all of the major things that we had talked about that needed attention.
Questions? Did you mention the camera? Sorry.
Yeah, the police department purchased another different kind of portable camera. Actually, the camera that they got is going to be part of their phone system that they use for the duty phones. So if there's any kind of activity that, I'm not sure about the sensitivity or how that works at this point, but it will notify them if they need to pay attention to what's going on in the park. So again, those are all things that will fix the damage that had taken place. They're not the solution to keep it from happening.
Has there been any discussion? I know I talked to you about potential just like short-term, not solution, but preventative measure parking a police vehicle in the park area.
I talked to Captain Reed about that, and they do not want to do that. We can have discussion offline about that, but that's not something they're in favor of doing.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Hurst. On to strategic plan and economic development discussion. A few things we can cover, and then we're going to move to executive session on a couple other matters. This week, I know Mr. Hurst followed up on the thing that we had asked to do about ordering a study. I was surprised to hear that they wouldn't continue because our strategic plan is not in place, which kind of surprised me because my recollection was that I know it was held up, but then there was an activity done to kind of whatever it was, redo it or revamp it or whatever it was, reorganize it, and then it passed the next week, at the next meeting, and I thought it was done. I honestly did. I didn't know. It was a surprise to me that what we expect passed in place or are working with is not adequate for to get services that we need from the county, basically. So, can we discuss that? What are we missing? What are we missing on that right now with strategic plan?
So the question came up about requesting soil testing in the Stover area on the properties that we own. And the county indicated that there are funds available for that. However, they want to see what our plan is for that particular area. And we can apply for that funding with our plan as part of a greater development project in that area, which is what we want to talk about this evening. So the strategic plan, my understanding, and I can be wrong about this, is that council approved a mission statement. I believe in general, we agreed on the 6 tenets of the strategic plan, but we were waiting to hear back from council on additional items, and I believe from the mayor to fill out some of those bullet points. And I think at last council meeting, Mr. Fisher had indicated, I guess you've got a collection point for those things. And I don't know that you got everybody's feedback yet at this point, or if you're where you are in the process.
Right, so I did not get everybody's feedback, I did get some, and what I think the plan going forward is that I will give till Thursday this week for additional people to send in their plan of action, we would call it. And under those bullet points, we could have a plan of action of what you feel, different projects you feel fall under that category, or a 5-10 year span. And then by the next council meeting, that will be after the summer break, we will go through everybody's ideas, put all of them onto a piece of paper, and then we can vote up or down each idea to council on which ones we approve as a council, which ones not. But everybody's ideas will be on that plan, and then we can take that and have a final plan for the next 5-10 years. That's the idea. So everybody, we're missing one, but if everybody, that full council will present this again, and everybody can send by Thursday. The ideas over. I'm just collecting. You put all your ideas, whatever comes to your mind that you want to see the village do for the strategic plan. We'll put it onto a piece of paper, and then we'll vote up and down by next council. Does that make sense?
I guess for me, I see 3 documents out there. One that Dale McBride produced, one that Ron produced, and then I think there's a third one that we produced with the 6 things. So which one are we? Because I know I submitted, I know Dave submitted based on the second one, I believe. And that's what I was working with. So which one, or what's the document we're trying to fill in the blanks?
So what the administration is saying is that we do, all of us agree that we want a strategic plan, and all of us agree what 6 ideas that we want to accomplish within this village over the next period of time. The administration is saying that we don't have plan of action A, B, C, D, right? So, for example, plan of action, we want to redo Los Angeles. Plan of action, we want a city square. Plan of action, we want to have a Stover project. Plan of action, we want to have a weed project. Plan of action, we want a garden at the end of the river, or any other plan that you have that you want. Then, if we could put that more clear in baby language on a piece of paper, that will give us a plan of action. Then we can take that to the county and say, listen, this plan of number 6 over here, of building a new Los Angeles, redoing Los Angeles to make it look more inviting, is where you have a grant that fits this and put black figure. That's what my understanding is. Is that correct, Ron?
So this was my understanding. Sorry. So this was the last document that we were talking about. So the 6 tenants were prosperity, village center, neighborhoods, parks, regional image, government services and infrastructure implementation. So the things that Mr. Fisher was collecting were the additional bullet points or additional areas of concentration in this plan. So I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, this was the step before that. There was points on this plan that not everybody was excited about. So what we did was is that we got everybody's information and we made just the mission statement with the bullet points. All it had was bullet points and a mission statement that included everybody's ideas. Then we said we're going to take that and break it down with guys' plans straight out. So there was another document that we passed in council. Right now, but
So I had sent a question about whether or not you were starting a whole new list or whether we were taking this list of actions and modifying
we were going to take all these and putting it onto the new document.
all of those
Correct.
and then changing whatever we
Well,
feel should or shouldn't be there.
Correct.
Okay, so that's a question I posed to you. Do we now take those new categories, take these action plans, which have been in place for a while, those actions list, and the point is to make a new document with those modified.
Right, with everybody else's ideas.
More, and it sounds like it's more specific to actual actions, then it becomes the strategic plan that's acceptable. The way I understand it then?
But what-
What's that?
Don't give me, I'm the one asking the question. No, I would think there was a lot of time put into that list that was just up there, a whole lot of time. And then it was updated a bit back in May, if I remember correctly. And then, so the question is, my question, that document, which there was a lot of time put in, I wasn't here when that was done. There was a lot of hours put in on that list. Yes, there could be some things that should be taken off because they're done, or whatever you want to say. So if all we're gonna do is mark that list up, that's an easy thing to do. That's my question. Do we take that list and mark it up and send that back to you? Is that what you want?
You could do it that way, or I was going to put all of those items onto fitted under one of the categories that we passed,
Okay,
and then additional with everybody else's ideas that they wanted. And there's certain, like, for example, people have the same ideas but in different words that have
Yeah.
still a project. Or
Sure.
some people mean one thing and the other means other, then we're going to have to just vote that part out.
so if I'm gonna give feedback to you, I could look at, so Mr. Hurth, if you could resend that March list to everybody, and then what we can do is
Right,
say,
this is
that said March 2023 on it.
So Mr. Fisher, this is
right, this
the
is the one
mission.
that we passed.
That's what he sent, yes, that's the one he's sitting on right now. So if you could send out, I think, the one that you just had up before this, the March 20, send that out to everybody tomorrow. And then we can look at that and say, under this category, I would change this and this. Under this category, I'm good. Under that category, add these. And then everybody can provide that feedback to you. Is that what you want?
If that's how you want to do it, you could do it that way. It doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
What you want to do. If he wants to write his own list, he can write his own.
Okay.
Right, you could do it that way. Respond that way, and then I'll put everything together, and then we'll vote line by line.
It just, for me, it feels like the piece that's missing is that these are a little bit ideas, but the strategic plan will be specific. Like we're talking about, we are going to focus on reheat the civic center, whatever that means. We are going to focus on Stillwater as being a residential. So those are actual actions, not
Right, that's what I said, that you're writing it
Okay.
80 lines.
That's the kind of
And you're
thing-
gonna write it,
That's the kind of thing that we got to add to this to make it.
make it just, that's more fancy language. We want to write it straight out. Everybody knows what we're working on.
Okay.
I always got the impression, though, that what the administration needed to be able to move forward and to obtain the different grants and stuff that were out there was not that specific. It was an overlying general, a general document of these are the goals,
Mhm.
not this is how we're going to accomplish it. So is that the piece that's missing, that's preventing?
That's where I was
Yeah,
confused
no,
too,
no,
'cause I thought
you-
we had-
Sounds like-
You
I feel like we
have
already
a-
did
That's what we were under the assumption when we did work on this. That was an assumption. And now the administration is saying that we need something more. That's what I'm understanding. So either something changed, right? It's very possible now that the council wants more than that, or that document that we do have is good enough for us to use. That's really the clarification of the administration.
So what we want to do is position ourselves so that we can apply for things that will work towards the goal of whatever the vision is of the Stowe project or the community project. So there are funds that are available to do the kinds of testing that we want to do. They simply want to know, what are we going to do with that area? Is council saying it's going to be a residential area? Is council saying it's going to be a mixed use area with business and residential? Is it going to be industrial? What is it going to be essentially? That's what they're looking for. They want to know that we have a set goal for what we see going into these two areas. I think Weedy project is probably more defined because it's in our business area, under the business overlay. The Stowe project, right now it's multifamily. Do we see that as single family? Do we see it as rental property? Do we?
I think you'd say residential, and that's probably, is that enough?
Again,
I prefer to hold my comments to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that's why Mr. Donovan is here this evening, is to talk about what that process might be and how we get to that. So,
Well, I guess the only hurdle is, it sounds like whatever we've developed isn't quite what they want, and I'm trying to fill that gap, so that
well,
finally
I think we're headed in that
Okay.
direction, but I think there are some other things that we can also do to step forward so we can make ourselves available to funding that's available to us.
I think we really need to build out a framework into where all this fits. Because I think, I keep hearing we're mixing terms. I think sometimes some people are using one term, think one thing, and another person's using the same term, think another thing. I think what we need to break down is I think we have our overall goals, our 6 statements of this is where we want the village to be. We want to be inclusive village. We want to, improve property values, all those big things. Then we have our actual objectives, so our goals. We want to improve property values. How are we going to do that? Objective, we need business district. Then the actual action plan of what does that mean to develop a business district. So I think it's really kind of like 3-tiered things we're looking for that keep being shuffled around in different levels and priority orders, if that makes sense. So I think if we work from that framework of we have our 6 goals, what are our objectives to reach those goals, and then the actual action plans of those individual objectives. We don't necessarily need action plans for every objective right now, but it sounds like we need action plans for those things we're seeking funds for.
So we did get together what our what our goals are up there. And now we need to have our plan and plan of action. That's what we have to the next step. And then we could always add, it's a living document that we always mention, we could always add as a goal, we'll proceed to get our parks up to par, whatever we decided in 3 years, we decided we need to add stuff.
So that's what I'm saying, like if we say parks is one of our goals, to improve our parks, our objective is promote health, wellness, recreation. Okay, what does that mean? How are we doing that? They're giving us money. What are we doing with that?
That's when we're talking, but that's when we're doing the idea of what we need to do.
So I just think we're all clear that that's what, because I'm not sure everyone's clear.
Yeah, I think that's what we're working for exactly now, and we gotta find that whatever the gap is here to get things moving. So if you need help on that, I'll put together. One thing I do want to mention though too is that the strategic plan can include specific ideas in the sense that I'm just making this up. Let's say we would like to build a new community center, something for the future. You could say that, and we know we probably can't do it, but let's say in 2 years there's some kind of crazy federal grant that comes out and it's available, and it's easy for us to say, hey, that's a perfect fit to this idea, even though we're not actually able to function and do this right now. So those ideas can be part of it. terms of, because that's how it works. When you have the idea, but we're gonna work on these three, because that's what we have the resources for, the grants are available, there's another we'd like to do, but it's gonna sit there until either we can, or something may come up and push something else off, because this came up. I mean, the money with COVID, came into all that, really changed some dynamics, just because it was there. We never expected it, so, anyway, I just want to mention, you can be a little bit dreamy and still be specific with it, so. Okay, so we're gonna submit it again to David, and we're gonna put this together, and David, you're gonna, I guess, work with Ron to make sure, hopefully it meets, whatever it is to meet that gap that we have now. And, is it for next executive committee meeting, will it be available? Is that next council meeting?
Monday, September 11th. We have one meeting in September again.
Okay, so you
And the
do,
outcome of that would be to have a presentable document that we can then take to county, to the state, to whoever, for grants. That is what our outcome would be.
that works.
I think that's also a statement to the community that this is what we're working on.
And also the administration to start working on different projects.
Okay, so September 11th, that gives us 4 weeks, so if you want to push the due date out a week or something, it's a, something to be.
Those 2 days out doesn't count.
Okay, so what's your deadline? What's the Thursday? This Thursday? So that would be the 17th. You got that? Okay. All right, anything else on that? Okay, in the interest of time, I'm just gonna jump to old business because it's a 1-2 sentence thing. The executive committee did need a special session last week. We completed the task. I just have to write it up, and I'll be setting up the appointment regarding employee compensation and delivering that in the next 7 days. So I think we're ready to move on, and so it's going to be happening very soon. And with that, I think we're ready to move to executive session. I'd like to invite all council members there. How do I do that?
First of all, you have a motion of somebody on the committee for an executive session for purposes of purchase or sale of real estate. You have a second, and ask for all of you to join the session.
Okay.
Everybody concurs, and you have a roll call vote about going to executive session.
Okay. Do I have a motion to move to executive session
For purposes of purchase and sale of real estate.
for that reason?
Whatever he said.
Absolutely, like you said.
Ditto.
And then you wanted to invite the mayor and the 3 council members who are also present as guests.
Yeah, now we have a second. So we're gonna,
Who was the second? I'm sorry.
David, who said who made a motion?
You said the motion, huh?
I asked if I had a motion.
Move to enter executive session for the purposes of property acquisition or sale.
And then you're asking also the council members and the mayor to attend as guests.
Yes, I'd like to invite them as guests to attend this executive session.
Is there a roll call vote?
Roll call vote.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Knipp,
Yes.
Mr. Michelson,
Yes.
Mr. Simile. Yes. Mr. Van Hart.
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we're taking the meeting offline for an executive session. We won't be back. We'll be back at around 6:30 for the finance committee.
Took longer to get into the executive session. The executive session will probably